Hello, my name is Joshua Yale, and I'm talking with Malcolm Spellman, head writer on The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I'm going to ask him all of the burning questions we have after watching the show. So, Malcolm, are you ready?
I am ready. Josh, is it really offensive for me to eat these cookies while I talk to you?
No, please enjoy these cookies. So, yeah, you have your cookies. I'm going to ask the questions. We get the twist that Sharon Carter is the power broker. Now, some people were caught off guard by what they saw as a sharp change in her morality. So how would you explain why Sharon broke bad?
A tremendous amount of thought was put into making this decision, right? And it begins with Civil War. Sharon was forced out. And in our mind, every scenario we ran on why she hadn't been appearing had to do with the fact that the way the intelligence community often works is when they turn on someone, they turn all the way on them. When you've been burned, you are utterly betrayed. These people not only did not ever take Sharon back in, they forced her to become a criminal, and they forced her to be on that trajectory. And with the skill set she developed at S.H.I.E.L.D., she was able to thrive. Add to that, Sharon comes from royalty, but more than that character being sort of like the Princess of Marvel, Emily has such a youthful look and vibe. For her to be that edgy really, really played well with the character. But it all came from an honest place. It's not like anyone showed up and said, let's ruin Sharon Carter. It was, what do you think happened to Sharon when S.H.I.E.L.D. went bad and the intelligence community, turned on her? And this was it.
Madripoor is, of course, the stomping ground of Wolverine in the comics. So was there ever any discussion of having Wolverine show up or including some kind of X-Men Easter egg in Madripoor?
All kinds of discussions happened, and everyone at Marvel is aware of what Madripoor is and what it means for the MCU. That's all I'm gonna say.
So another big topic of discussion is John Walker, and a lot of people I've seen debating online, did he face enough consequences for his actions?
When we talk about John Walker, there's two realms of punishment and price that you pay, right? On a personal level, when you look at this character who's dedicated his life towards being the perfect soldier, to have that ripped away from you has an immense personal toll. And look what it did to him as a character, right? Like, people have to remember, when John is acting out, that is in response to his best friend being murdered and his government, basically casting him aside and having no regard for what it means to be a veteran, right? Then, in continuing that journey, look at the pain on his face when he's lying to Lamar's family, right? So everything doesn't have to be, I don't want to say superficial, but external when a character pays for something. You know what I'm saying? So I think John paid an immense personal price when it comes to how the government treated him, the taking into account his record, taking into account that this flag smasher had been sort of an enemy of the state, and therefore what John did to him maybe not being warranted, but in the heat of battle, like those kinds of excuses you make for people, that felt like what happens with people like Walker.
We got the surprise that Julia Louis-Dreyfus is playing the Contessa, Val, and it seems clear that she's recruiting powerful people and she's up to something. And a lot of fans, namely me, seem to think she's starting her own team of dark Avengers. So what can you say about, what is she up to?
And what do you think, Mr. Joshua, I'm allowed to say about what Val is up to outside of what she did in this series, which obviously shows that she is up to something? That part I can't get in trouble for because you see her in that room with Walker. Beyond that, I cannot speak on what Val may or may not be up to.
Well, there was an interesting article in Vanity Fair where they said that character was originally going to make her debut in Black Widow, but ended up being in your show. Did that change anything for you? Did you guys go in and alter anything, or was it as originally intended?
As original. I found out technically, you and the rest of the people who have been talking to me are all I know about what's happening in Black Widow. I swear to God, I had no idea. I don't know if she's in it and had never even heard that until people started interviewing me today.
Zemo is a lot more comic book accurate in the show, which I loved. And, we see him put on his signature purple mask. I know why he has that mask in the comic books, but in the show, like, why does he value that mask and why does he put it on for that one fight sequence?
Zemo actually takes pride in the service he did for this country. We talked a lot about the fact that though he comes from money and everything like that, he comes from one of those families that are very, very patriotic. And he's clearly mourning everything he lost, including his entire country, still through this series, because he won't let his foot off anyone's neck anytime they talk. You know what I'm saying? Like the way he's going after the Avengers and superheroes and supremacy, right? He always brings it back to what happened to him, right? So Zemo believes he is a hero. And getting back to his roots when he was in service of his country and that mask, I think that's all him honoring his roots and who he really believes himself to be.
We got the news that you were involved in the next Captain America movie. So first of all, congratulations. And I'm just interested to hear, will that movie star Sam Wilson as Captain America? And, what are you most interested in exploring next for Captain America?
I would say this. I would not assume anything that has not come out of Kevin's mouth. If you have not heard Kevin say it, I would not assume it is. That's what I got for you, Josh.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you for your time, Malcolm.